Ferrari has changed. The paddock feels it. After Japan, the whispers in the garages turned into something sharper, something real. This is not the same Ferrari that led early then faded. This is a team that found something in the data, something that could flip the season overnight. And the first sign came from a secret test, one that was never meant to leave Maranello, but it did. Leaked telemetry shows a 5-part upgrade delivering up to 0.4 seconds per lap. That number alone could erase the 25 horsepower deficit Ferrari carried into Miami. This is not about raw power anymore. It is about power at the right moment. Lewis Hamilton knows what that means. For the first time this season, he could attack at the end of the straight instead of defending through it, but here is what the paddock is not talking about. The real story is not the lap time gain, it is the system behind it. Rear wing, floor, energy software, power unit behavior, all synchronized to solve one problem, being unbeatable where it counts. So the question that changes everything is this: did Ferrari just unlock the one thing Mercedes cannot copy in time for Miami? To answer that, we need to look at the telemetry that rewrote the rules. After Japan, Ferrari stopped chasing lap times. They hunted for moments. Telemetry revealed 3 exact zones where energy deployment cut out too early. At the end of long straights, where Mercedes still had power and Ferrari did not. The problem was not just more power, it was power at the right time. That requires control, precision, prediction. Ferrari began building exactly that. The 25 horsepower gap was only half the story. Ferrari created a consistency metric to measure performance sustainability. Mercedes generated extra electrical energy in Sector 2 through strategic combustion phasing. That let them attack later, stay strong longer. Ferrari's microtelemetry exposed this pattern. 0.4 seconds per lap was the headline. The real gain was understanding why Mercedes held that advantage race after race. One data point remained unexplained. One metric pointed to a regulatory vulnerability neither team expected. Ferrari knew what they were missing. They knew it could be adapted, not copied. But that unexplained number changes everything. To understand why, we need to decode the Mercedes blueprint. Mercedes had a secret weapon. They used specific combustion phases to feed the MGUK at precise moments in the lap. This energy banking technique extended full power deployment windows by 1.2 seconds. That gave them consistency, not just peak power. Ferrari studied this behavior closely. They watched when Mercedes deployed, when they harvested, how they managed energy across a stint. James Allison once described this philosophy as managing the lap as a whole, not just chasing speed in one corner. Ferrari listened, but copying Mercedes directly was impossible. FIA homology rules block direct replication of energy management strategies. Ferrari had to adapt, not imitate. They integrated Mercedes insights with their own chassis architecture and cooling systems. The result was a reinterpretation, not a copy. A system designed to deliver power at the right moment using Ferrari's unique strengths. This was innovation within the rules. And that is where Ferrari became dangerous. And that is when Ferrari realized they did not need to copy Mercedes. They needed to outthink them. But there was one element of Mercedes' system Ferrari could not replicate legally. One technique that sat right on the edge of the regulations. That element points directly to the FIA's next move. To understand what that means for Miami, we must look at the FIA's silent chess move. The FIA is not issuing a vague clampdown. They are reviewing Technical Directive 045/24, which scrutinizes energy harvesting thresholds during specific engine maps. This matters because it targets how teams generate electrical energy, not just how they deploy it. Mercedes' technique of feeding the MGUK through strategic combustion phasing sits right on the edge of this interpretation. Ferrari's new system was designed within the current letter of the rules. That compliance buffer could prove decisive if the guidance lands before Miami FP1. The difference between a regulatory clarification and a new restriction is critical in FIA language. One allows teams to adapt within existing hardware. The other forces immediate changes. The timeline is tight. Teams receive guidance roughly 72 hours before first practice. That window is too short for major hardware fixes. It favors teams who built flexibility into their design from the start. Ferrari did. Mercedes may not have, and if the FIA's clarification lands before Miami FP1, everything changes overnight. Mercedes knows it. Ferrari knows it. The battle is no longer just about speed. It is about who anticipated the rules shift first. But regulations are not the only variable Miami will test. The circuit itself holds its own challenges. To see why, we turn to Miami, the perfect validation storm. Miami does not forgive mistakes. Track temperatures reach 45 degrees Celsius. Humidity pushes tire degradation 0.3 seconds per lap, faster than cooler circuits. Ferrari's new floor was designed for this exact challenge. Thermal stability first, downforce second. Validated in wind tunnel testing at 50 degrees Celsius. If the floor cannot handle the heat, none of the other upgrades matter. Hamilton needs that stable rear platform to attack late into braking zones. That is where overtakes are won in Miami. The hidden gain is not raw aero, it is tire preservation. 0.1 seconds per lap saved on tire wear can outweigh 0.3 seconds from pure downforce over a race stint. Ferrari's energy system adapts in real time to manage heat soak. Engine cooling efficiency directly impacts energy deployment consistency. This is not coincidence. This is targeted preparation for Miami's unique demands. But even with perfect conditions, there is one variable Ferrari cannot control. Mercedes is not waiting. They know what is coming. They have studied Ferrari's test data just as Ferrari studied theirs, and they have their own answers ready. To understand how Mercedes plans to respond, we must look at their Counter-Strike playbook. Mercedes does not just react to threats. They redefine the battlefield. When challenged mid-season, their historical pattern shows setup innovation, not just new parts. Their current car philosophy offers wider operational flexibility. That means track-specific optimization without major hardware changes. Toto Wolff has built a culture that anticipates pressure, not just responds to it. We do not chase, we anticipate. That mindset shapes every technical decision, and in Miami, that could be their greatest weapon. Championship math favors Mercedes in one key way. They can afford experimental setups in Miami practice. Ferrari cannot. A 15-point swing over 3 races changes the title fight. Mercedes knows this. They also know Hamilton's return to form adds psychological pressure within their own garage. A strong result in Miami is not just about points. It is about controlling the development narrative for the next phase of the season. But there is a third force in this battle neither team fully controls. The moment of truth arrives in FP1, not in theory. Not in wind tunnel data, on track, under heat, under pressure. That is when philosophy meets reality. To understand what to watch for in that first session, we must break down the moment of truth. What Miami FP1 will reveal. Watch 3 numbers in FP1. Sector 2, exit speed. Energy deployment consistency across 10 laps. Rear tire degradation rate. If Ferrari is within 0.1 seconds but not ahead, that tells a story of its own. Development trajectory versus race setup. Raven Jane's philosophy guides this approach. Integration over isolation. Every component must work together. One small issue could cascade, or prove the system is robust under real race conditions. Hamilton needs that stable rear platform to attack late into braking zones. That is where Miami races are decided. Championship math makes this session critical. A sustained 0.2 seconds per lap gain could shift 15 points over the next 3 races. That changes the title fight. Not in theory, in reality. But the answer is not just who is faster, it is which philosophy wins. Precision versus dominance. Control versus adaptation. The data from FP1 will not lie. It will show which team understood the moment first. But regardless of the result, one thing is now certain. This is not just about Miami. It is about who controls the development narrative for the second half of the season. To understand what that means for the championship, we must look at the consequence close. If Ferrari's system works in Miami, the championship shifts. The development race accelerates. Mercedes must respond. Hamilton's title hopes become real. If it fails, the gap may be too deep for one upgrade to fix. Maranello faces a hard choice. Change course or double down. Either way, the story moves forward. The next 3 races will reveal who understood the problem first. Barcelona, Imola, Monaco. 3 circuits, 3 tests. This is where Ferrari's direction gets proven or questioned. Hamilton needs top 3 finishes to stay in contention. Mercedes knows this. Ferrari knows this. Pressure builds with every session. The team that adapts fastest gains ground. The team that hesitates loses it. In this sport, lost ground is hard to regain. This is not just about Miami. It is about who controls the second half of the season. The team that reads the race first, adapts faster, executes under pressure. That is the team that wins. In Formula 1, speed matters, but understanding the moment matters more. That is the battle we are watching now. And every lap counts. Every decision shapes the story. This is where championships are decided.